Halloween tech. All right, we're laughing about Halloween, spooky Halloween tech. Hello, part two of our four-part Halloween extravaganza. Joe here from Copy Hackers. I am joined by the always fantastic Amy Posner. I always say Posner and then I think Posner, but it's
It
Posner,
is
isn't it?
Posner.
Shit,
It is
it's
Posner.
Posner. I know I always say Posner, but Posner. All right, Amy, you and I have known each other for ages. We coached together in the 10X Freelance Copywriter, which is now under Freelancing School, which launches Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So watch for that. In 10X FC, Amy, you have a very popular thing that you share, which is the topic for today, which is the pause clause. I'm going to let you take over and share everything about the pause clause. I have my Mr. Big because it's Halloween and it's my favorite chocolate bar. So I will be quietly watching you and taking notes. But yeah, let's get going. Have a good time.
Okay, I will, but I'm going to have to come back to the chocolate bar. Okay. So let's talk about the pumpkin spice pause clause and getting yours baked in. So the pause clause, I'm here to talk to you about. It's a critical piece of contract language, and it's one that's going to save your skin. But what I want to talk about is why it matters. And of course, let me just disclaim, I am not an attorney, consult yours. That said, the pause clause exists for the times when your projects stall out. And let me just share the actual language of the pause clause, and you can grab it here. Any communications or deliverables not provided to me within 7 business days of an agreed upon deadline will cause the project to go on hold. It may be anywhere from 1 to 3+ weeks before I can schedule the project back into our production calendar. A project restart fee of $500 to be charged. If the pause clause is enabled, it must be paid in full prior to the project's restart. So this is a little handy piece of language that you want to have in your contract for the times when things slow down. And it does happen. But what I want to talk to you about today is how do you avoid this? Because that's really what we want ultimately, right? We want to avoid to implement the pause clause. And unless you are crystal clear about your expectations from a client, they have no idea what you need from them. They don't know what's what. But you have a chance to lay this all down in the discovery call. So really, really early in the relationship, you can start talking about this, and ideally avoid conflict and particularly timing problems as you go. And so you want to set clear expectations. I mean, always and throughout the relationship, but you start it with talking about timelines and setting clear expectations with your client. So this is before and during a project. It's something to discuss, like I said, as early as a discovery call, asking them, so, when does this project need to happen? When does it need to be complete by? Why does it need to be complete by then? Not that you're challenging them, but to understand, what actually goes into this decision for them. And then you get a sense of, does it fit into your timeline? Do you have, in fact, time to take this on? Is it something that you want to take on? But having that discussion early on frames the idea that, yes, the client is hiring you to do work, but there's going to be some input needed from them. And we want to make sure that they're super clear on that. It's an important point because you just don't know when what people's plans are or what their expectations are, and it can really come back to bite you. So once you have a scope of work, your contract should include timelines, and those timelines should include the points at which you're going to need input from them. There are points at which you'll need input, and there are points at which you'll need reviews. And if you can book those in even to specific dates or specific weeks, if you can't get as granular as the specific day, and if you're agreed on that, that way you're less likely, to run into, our reviewers in Bali for 2 weeks. Sorry, we can't get this to you. Had the conversation happened, they probably knew they were going to be in Bali during those 2 weeks, but you didn't. And so, so these little things need to be covered. And what you're demonstrating in this early stage by doing that is you're showing that you're a pro, right? You know how to run a project. You have other things on the go. It's not, yes, I'm just sitting here. You tell me the date. No, you've got something that you need to fit into your calendar as well as they do into yours. And demonstrating that you know how to run a project is really important to good clients, right? Right there, you're giving them an early sign that you have systems, you have processes, you know what it is you're doing. So you want to have so how do you know, right? How do you know? Like someone says, well, here we are and it's November and we need this done by the middle of the month, or we need this done last week, or we need this done in December. And you go, great, but how do I know? How do I know how long this is going to take me? And so once you have a sense of what the project is, you want to and you want to have an understanding of the project itself, but you also want to have an understanding for yourself internally. What does it take you in time-wise? What does it take you to complete something? And what's the project flow for the type of projects you work on regularly? In other words, I take on this kind of project. It takes me this long, maybe it takes me 2 months. At the end of 30 days is when we do this part of the process. So you want to have a clear sense of that for yourself. And you may be thinking, yeah, but like, what if I'm new? What if I haven't done this project before? What if I don't know how long it takes me to do things? Well, the answer to that is timing is everything. And I hate to break the news to you, but you need to know how long everything you do takes. You just do. And there's really no way to find out except to time yourself. And what you won't be surprised about is that inevitably everything takes longer than you think it will, right? And when you start to time yourself and you see that a project that you maybe allowed yourself 25 hours for in your calendar is really going to take you 40, not only do you now have a time issue, you also have a money issue, because you've probably in your project figuring on a price, you probably figured for 25 hours, and now you're over by what, like 35-40%. That's huge. Has a huge impact on your schedule, has a huge impact on your budget. And so you need to account for every action. You need to know how long things take. And I know this is not the fun part of this, but the truth is, once you do that, and once you know how long things take you, that's when you start to really be in control of your money, because you can now price projects appropriately, knowing what's involved for you. So what happens then, if you're able to say, oh yeah, let's see, I do this kind of project, and it took me about 25 hours, and you know that you're going to probably add 15% because everything goes over. You'll have a really good sense of where you should price and how much you can put into your calendar. Because if you don't have this and you don't have a sense of this, you know what you have, right? You have chaos, and chaos doesn't work very well when you're running a business. So the thing you want to do is be very crystal clear with your client about your commitments, about the commitments you need from them, about what that timing is like, so it can be booked in, and you can both expect it. And that's how you can prepare to avoid the pause clause. But here's a caveat for you. Please use it when it's called for. It'll keep you sane. You want to be crystal clear. You have an agreement with someone, you've agreed to do one thing, they've agreed to do some other things, but they've also agreed to pay you to do that thing. And so that's the agreement. They need to keep their end of the bargain. That's why you want to have this, because the funny thing about the pause clause, I think I've only ever used it once over my long career. I've invoked it many times, but I've only ever had to charge it once. And so that's what it does for you. If somebody realizes, oh, wait, I have to do the thing or it's going to cost me money, suddenly they have time to do the thing. And so, make that your friend and hope you never have to use it.
I love it.
That's the pause clause for you.
Like insurance. It's amazing. Gotta have it.
Like insurance.
Yeah. Amazing. I love the pause clause. I know that it has been a game changer for many a freelancer who's been burned by things going wrong out of the gate. And then this happens and they need it, but it's too late. So add it into contracts, go talk to a lawyer to get it. It's honestly, as a side note, Amy, I don't know if you find this, but people are very scared to talk to a lawyer. They think it's going to be a lot of money, but this is your contract for like the work you're going to be doing for your whole time as a freelancer. If you spend $500 to get a lawyer to draft your contract for you and to include language around pausing and what that costs, I mean, that's going to pay off forever. So yeah, I don't know. I love hiring lawyers for those kinds of things to avoid the need for lawyers down the road.
Yeah, I think it's really smart actually, because it's it's like you said, it's like insurance, you pay for it and you resent it a little bit, but man, when you need it, you are so glad you made those payments. And it's funny because I've got someone like right now in a situation where a client doesn't want to pay. It does happen. And you need to, yes, you need to do all the gracious things and try and get them to do what they say they're going to do. But like at the end of the day, if they don't, it's a contractual situation.
Yep.
Right. And you need to make sure that you've got yourself covered because like you said, it could cost, $500 to talk to a lawyer. It could cost you, 5,000 to not have done it.
Yeah. 100%. Totally. Amy, amazing as always. Thank you so much. If you have any questions and they didn't get answered during this time, throw them in the comments and we'll get to them when you comment. So it doesn't have to happen while the live stream is going on. We will find it and we will answer it. And we've got 2 more tutorials coming for you in the next hour. So join us back here at 10 a.m. Pacific. That's 1 p.m. Eastern for our next Halloween extravaganza tutorial for freelancers. Amy, where can people find you?
Find me at amyposner.com.
Posner.